d4, queen's pawn opening, opening line. The queen's pawn opening move is somewhat slower than the popular e4 because white will not be able to castle for 3 more moves. Its advantage is that it gives white more control over tactical surprises and often provides more lasting initiative and pressure. e5, Englund Gambit, opening line. This is a slightly poorer version from its brother, the Budapest defense. 1 d4, knight f6, 2 c4 e5. After 1 d4 e5, 2 d takes e5, knight c6, 3 knight f3, queen e7, white is 16% ahead of black in wins. Practitioner beware. If white calmly builds his position, his lead in development gives him all the winning chances. D takes e5, out of opening book. White wins a pawn. White is up a pawn. Knight c6, threatens white's pawn at e5. Knight f3, protects white's pawn at e5. Queen e7. Bishop f4. Queen b4, check. Triple forks white's bishop at f4, white's pawn at b2, and white's king. Bishop d2, moves it out of immediate danger, removes the threat on white's king, and threatens black's queen. Queen takes b2, threatens white's rook at a1, and isolates white's pawn at a2, and white's pawn at c2. Black wins a pawn. Material is even. Bishop c3, yikes, leads to bishop b4. Bishop takes b4, knight takes b4, knight a3, queen takes a3, rook b1, queen c3, check, queen d2, knight takes a2, e4, knight e7, bishop b5, knight c6, bishop takes c6, queen takes d2, check, king takes d2, d takes c6, which wins a queen, a bishop, and a knight. For a queen, 2 bishops, a knight, and a pawn. Much better is knight c3, leading to a6, a3, knight g, e7, e4, queen b6, bishop d3, queen c5, knight a4, queen a7, castle kingside, knight g6, which does not exchange any material. This error did not immediately put white out of the game, but black was able to eventually mate. Bishop b4 partially pins white's bishop at c3 and removes the threat on black's queen. Queen d2 leads to bishop takes c3, knight takes c3, queen takes a1, check, knight d1, knight takes e5, e4, knight takes f3, check, g takes f3, d6, queen a5, c6, c3, knight f6, rook g1, bishop e6, queen c7, castle kingside, queen takes b7, queen takes a2, queen takes c6, which wins a bishop, a knight, and 2 pawns. For a rook, a bishop, a knight, and 2 pawns. Better is bishop takes b4, leading to knight takes b4. Knight a3, queen takes a3, rook b1, knight e7, e4, knight b c6, bishop d3, castle kingside, knight g6, bishop b5, queen takes a2, rook a1, which wins a bishop. for a bishop, a knight, and a pawn. Bishop takes c3, threatens mate, queen to c1, partially pins white's queen, removes the threat on black's queen, forks white's queen and white's rook at a1, and blocks white's pawn at c2. Queen takes c3, white moves into a forced mate. Much better is knight takes c3, queen takes c3, leads to queen c1 and checkmate. Queen c1, checkmate. Checkmates white's king.